Hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am your host, Sandi Ballard, for week 274, I think. Isn't that crazy? And yes, I sound a little hoarse today or scratchy-throated because last week was, it was like 9 days of reconnecting and funtivities, as I like to say, with my friends and clients. So a week of speaking at events, coaching people, connecting with friends, laughing, making a lot of memories, and yes, being on an airplane. But it was a blast, and it was something that was much needed. So you'll just have to put up with me in this voice today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for connecting with me. And I always love hearing from my listeners. I say this every week. So if you've not connected with me and you're driving down the road, tell yourself, Alexa, the Google, something to remind you to find me on social media or email me at sandy@sandyballard.com because I want to help you. I want to connect with you, and I want to see how you're doing and how you're leveling up for the year. And if you want to email me, it's sandy@sandyballard.com, Sandy with an I, because my mom was that person. So thank you for listening, and thank you to Regina here in Cali and Nicole, who has been a guest on this podcast. I just want to say hey for recently reaching out and saying, they binge listened to my podcast, which was cool. Didn't really think about people doing that, but since I try to keep them around 10 minutes, they say they just put them on in the car or whatever they're doing and listen to, 3 or 4 or maybe 5. So if you do that, let me know. Just connect with me. I want to know who you are and where you are. And yes, it is Monday again, and the last Monday in June. So it's really time for me to get on my soapbox. It's time to review, reset, and then redo if you must. So what was your 30-day goal? What is your big 2021 goal? You may also have, a 3 or 6 month goal based on how long it takes to do something. Design a website, write a book, get back in shape or better shape, develop a product or course to help your business grow, or maybe even launch a business. I had just met with someone in Indiana, and she was doing a 75-day, I don't want to say shred, might have been shred, but a program, and it was like more than just not drinking and eating certain foods. It was about reading books, and it was about journaling. It was about the whole body. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And so that, would be a longer or maybe a short-term goal within your year. And as we've seen, things change. Even now, things are changing with restrictions being lifted, businesses reopening, et cetera, et cetera. And I know because I saw a lot of you're now traveling, vacationing, and enjoying what seems to be post-COVID normal, right? But is that post-COVID normal? It's summer, it feels normal, but is it? And, well, we can't review, even though we're traveling or we're taking a week to reset, which is really good. I just did that, and even though I was working, it was much needed. So you need to do that to reset, but we can't forget to review our progress. We're halfway through the year. And much like at the end of the year, I have a lot of clients, or I find people that don't set their goals until, I don't know, they wake up in February and say, oh shit, I haven't set my goals. And then it ends up being, maybe goals that don't have much thought to them, or they're unchallenging or unrealistic. That's a big one. So today, I'm going to help you do your mid-year check-in and see how you've leveled up or how you can. So I want you to take some time. I know if you're driving or walking or on the elliptical or by somewhere, working out, wherever you're doing listening to me, if you're not where you can you can get your goal sheet out, get a pen and paper, maybe you stop this one and come back. Or you just remember to listen again, because I need you to do a review, take some uninterrupted time, get your goal sheets, and not just ask yourself, but write down these few things. 30-day goal. Sorry about that. 30-day goal. Are you on track? Off kilter a bit? Or derailed completely? What happened? What worked? What didn't? What needs to stop? What needs to start? what needs to change. So yes, looking at your 30-day goal, how did you do? And then I want you to do that for your 2021 goal. Same things. Are you on track, off kilter, or derailed completely? What happened? Again, so what worked if you're on track? What didn't work if you're off track? And what needs to stop and what needs to start? What needs to change? Because you could be kicking ass and things still need to change to level up. I want you to write all those things down. And yeah, I just want to know, how's your year going so far? It's the mid-year check-in. How are you feeling about where you are personally and professionally? While I was on the plane, I looked at my goals. Yes, June's goal so my 30-day goal was to get Taboo Tribe, my women's group, thriving, get 5 new members, and really get that moving, because last week was a week of my women's groups. And so I got 1 new member, and a few more asked about it. So I didn't hit the goal, but I made some progress. And what I consider the big win is someone at the women's lunch, the Taboo Talk, actually signed up for next time as a sponsor, our first official sponsor. I consider that movement and a big win. I also changed up the marketing this time. I created a plan and really stepped up the brand this time. So that really helped as well. And now we had our luncheon, our Taboo Tribe luncheon, and I really feel like we have a solid, committed committee. So 2021's goal personally was to run a half marathon, start training. It's September 11th. I am 100% on track. I've already done 10 miles once, 8 miles twice. So after last week of being not training, we'll get back into it and stay on track. I have 10 weeks left, so I'll pick back up. The overall goal with that is to become healthier and happier and wealthier in all aspects of my life. And professionally, write a book, get back to speaking at conferences and for companies, lunch and learns, team building events, and to get Taboo Tribe to 100 members. Well, let's see. Writing, I'll mention this in a moment. Speaking, haven't seen anything yet to submit, although I did miss one deadline earlier in the year. And Taboo Tribe, we're not halfway, but like I said, had a good meeting with the Tribal Council, and we are putting together a plan. It's no longer I, which is so amazing. I did receive a small PPP loan earlier in the year. That was so helpful. So, to recap, my mid-year review recaps to feel, how do you feel about the year? This is how I feel about my year. This trip helped me tremendously, and this exercise helped me beyond belief. I pulled out my goal sheets, and yes, I do all these things that I ask you to do and suggest. Some things like running and getting healthier, I'm on track, minus my funtivities, a week of funtivities in Indiana. And we started working with a nutritionist, so I feel really good about the changes we've made. And professionally, I will say, because I am that honest, I'll say I was slightly frustrated about where I was with my business after the move and, gaining some traction with, finding a network out here and keeping connected in Indiana and finding clients anywhere in the United States and countries. And I was a little frustrated because, COVID, right? The pandemic. But once I was back last week, I had great meetings. I reconnected with people. I got a referral from a client, so walked away with a new client. And the extrovert in me is full. May sound a little selfish, but it's not. I don't really care if you think that's selfish. I need that. Extroverts need that. Introverts actually need things like that in a different way, at a smaller level. I needed that week to refill my tank. I've talked about that before, about how extroverts need the energy. Like I said, we all need the energy, but extroverts need it in a little bit different way. And last year deflated me like an old party balloon. So what's next? Well, what's up for the next 6 months? I always ask, what's next, right? Well, things changed for me last Friday when I was at my Women's Taboo Talk, which will help me really level up. As I mentioned, writing my 4th book was on my goal sheet, and it's been on my goal sheet for a year. I wanted to do it last year, But last year was last year, right? No excuses. I was mad at myself, and I put it on my goal worksheet, my goal sheet this year, but I didn't have it worked into my plan. Well, last week at the Taboo Talk, I just announced it to all the attendees. I am going to have my fourth book published by the end of the year. So now all of you in 94 countries are hearing my goal, my commitment to that. It's been on my goal sheet, but COVID, yes, we can only use COVID for so long. And I also realized I hadn't been intentional and focused on it. Last year I was rebranding, and I knew I needed to focus on that first. And, I don't know if you've listened to me for a while, you hear I tend to write my books on planes. Well, we haven't really had too many flights. I flew last September, worked on it a little bit, and in March, I don't even remember what happened. I just kind of looked at it and wrote down some more notes. But this time, I got that sucker out, that folder out, and I started typing and writing and really working on it. Things change. And with my commitment to finishing my fourth book, it's evident that I have a new 6-month goal. And not that my overall goal is changed, it's adding to it. It's going to help me become who I want to become. Which means by changing a few things and really committing to my book, it means things overall are going to have to change. I'm going to have to adjust a few things in my schedule. And, I've got to make time for edits. So I'm going to have this book written in 3 months. Things change. When I was in Indiana last week, people changed their schedules to come see me. One of my friends from high school, I hadn't seen him in a long time. Well, probably even before we moved almost 2 years ago. And he was at his mom's taking care of some things for her. And he goes, "I'll see you next time. When will that be?" And I said, "Not until September," which is, 3 months. And all of a sudden, he didn't say a word. He just showed up. And his sister showed up. That was just amazing to me. That made me feel so good. People changed their lives and their schedules to see me. And yeah, the only constant in the world, right, is change. Things change. Many of us had to pivot last year. And many of us are still utilizing whatever that new situation is, our option or offering is. Some things are still changing. We have to do regular progress reviews so we don't get to the end of the year and wonder what happened. Had I gotten to the end of the year and not looked at my sheets, I probably wouldn't be writing my book. We've got to do that. You wouldn't wait for a year to tell someone they needed to improve if if you have a company and staff and do performance reviews. You wouldn't wait for their 1 year, would you? Or maybe if you are the staff person, you'd kind of like to know what's going on, right? No surprises. Tracking progress helps you improve, grow, and learn. So this week, I want you to make time, uninterrupted time, to review your goal sheet. Do your progress check on your big and small goals. And be honest. Ask yourself why. And let's reset for the next 6 months. So yes, what's your July goal? And how will it help you achieve your 2021 goal? What's happened this year that's changed or has changed things for good and bad, and what's caused it. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but the big thing really is to do your mid-year review. How is your year going? And if you can't figure it out, call me, contact me, badassbusiness.coach/coaching. Schedule the 30-minute free call. That's how I got the new client. I talked to him. He scheduled one. I talked to him. And he's like, all right, let's do this. So I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to seeing your posts and your shares in the comment section throughout this week. And let's really dig deeper so we can play bigger and level up. Have a great week. Cheers.